Project Boro is now available as a podcast on your chosen podcast providers, so you can listen to every episode on the go. Simply go to the description of this video, click the link to the podcast provider of your choice, and subscribe or follow Project Boro, and you'll be able to find all episodes past, present and future right there for you to listen to on the go. Boro cruise into the last four of the League Cup. 20 years on from when we last won it. Do we dare to dream?
As the Uruguayan curls one in. Oh, Middlesbrough take the lead!
What is up, guys? Matthew here. Welcome back to another episode of Project Boro, a special midweek edition, because Boro have made it to the League Cup semi-final. They overcame Port Vale comfortably by 3-0, and as I say, have booked their place in the last four of a major competition. The last time Boro did that was in 2006, when we went on to obviously play in the UEFA Cup final. We were runners-up, of course, that time, and it is 20 years on from the year Boro went all the way and won the League Cup back in 2004. So this is unprecedented territory for Boro. It's the first time we've been this far in a major competition in well over a decade, and it's pretty darn exciting, if I'm honest. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This was a big banana skin for Boro, and too many times have I seen us reach the quarter-final of competitions against, lower league opposition where we were favourites, and we've absolutely bottled it. I think I've mentioned it a few times before. Back in 2008, we played Cardiff in a quarter-final of the FA Cup at home. We could have made a semi-final, which consisted, I think, of West Ham, Portsmouth, and maybe Barnsley or something. It was the biggest opportunity I think Boro will ever would have had of winning the FA Cup, since, of course, we made the final back in 1998, I think it was, or 97. So that was an opportunity. We also lost at home in the quarterfinals to Burton Albion a couple of seasons back. I think we also lost in a quarterfinal to Swansea City. We've got to this point many times, and I've seen Boro choke. And I'm not going to lie to you, given our current inconsistent form, the number of injuries that we have, and just the fact that we were heading away from home. Once again, every round in this competition has been away from home for Boro. There was a small part of me in the back of my head just thinking, this has the potential. If we're not at it, it's a chance for typical Boro to really, really come out and bottle another opportunity. But I tell you what, Boro were absolutely brilliant, and not in terms of our performance, because we didn't have to be. But we managed the game, we managed the occasion so incredibly well. It could have really, really gotten on top of Boro with Port Vale, their crowd. I mean, let's not forget, as equally this was the best possible tie for us, it was also the best possible tie for Port Vale. We'd both gotten a little fortunate in terms of the draw, as we well know, because all the other 6 sides in this competition were all Premier League teams, and they were all drawn against each other. So it's a miraculous situation, really, but a ginormous opportunity for both sides. And given Vale Park was packed, they were at home, it could have been a really, really tough game for Boro. But what the boys were able to do is manage the game exceptionally well, and a big part of that was getting in front, quieting the crowd down, and then just keeping control of the game. There wasn't a period where it felt like we were absolutely on the ropes. I think they had a spell, it might have been after we went 1-0 up, where they had a really, really good reaction, Port Vale, and they had us under pressure. They had corners flying in, crosses coming in left, right and centre, and the Boro defence was right under it for a period. But not once was Glover ever tested in the Boro goal. They didn't have a single shot on target, and Boro just about kept them at arm's length in that period. We weathered the storm, and then after that, it was comfortable, and you wouldn't think this was a side who were ravaged by injuries, a side who, have been up and down recently and were facing the possible opportunity of a League Cup semi-final. You would not have thought it. The boys were incredibly composed, incredibly calm, very, very professional. And I saw people saying, Boro weren't great, they were rubbish. Boro didn't have to be, and Michael Carrick made a very good point post-match. Boro made it comfortable for themselves by how we started. We put ourselves in a position to be comfortable, so we didn't have to be swashbuckling, we didn't have to be incredible. We just ensured that we got a grip of the game, we got ahead, we quietened the crowd down, and that allowed us to just keep control of the game, and we kept possession extremely well after that. As I say, we kept them from creating anything major, and we saw the game out really, really well. So, first half, Boro went ahead, as I say. They got the early goal, Johnny Howson, 11 minutes in. And this is a great opportunity of why sometimes you just have to roll the dice, take a shot, see what happens. Too often am I sick of seeing players against Boro just taking shots from miles out. It deflects or it goes in off the post or whatever. And you know what? If you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery. Howson thought, sod it, I'll have a dig. And this is what can happen. It can go absolutely anywhere, and it happened to deflect off of their defence and loop over Connor Ripley in goal. And that's what put Boro in front. And it was a crucial goal because, as I say, it gave us a foothold in the game. And we were to expect a response from Port Vale after that. And to their credit, I thought they reacted incredibly well. After that, Boro seemed happy to sit back. They seemed happy to allow Port Vale to have the ball, and I think it was clever by Boro. There was a game not too long ago where I recall us doing something similar. It might have been when we played Leicester. I can't quite recall, where we showed a different side to us. We were happy to sit back. We were happy to allow the opposition possession in certain areas where we knew they wouldn't be a threat. And we defended our box incredibly well. And we kind of saw that again. Now, let's not forget, this is lower league opposition. Let's not get too carried away with ourselves here. But I just think Boro really, really controlled the situation really well. And Port Vale had a spell where, they put us under pressure after we went 1-0 up. But Boro maintained relative comfort within the game. And it was all made pretty safe and sure 13 minutes later with Morgan Rogers, and it was a wonderful bit of play by Sammy Silvera. He wins the ball on the right hand side, a very good challenge by him to win the ball back. I think it came off the back of a switch from Port Vale, which made it really awkward for their left back to bring the ball down. Silvera wins it back, he gets into the box, I see that he has options, and I'm like, oh my god, is he going to pick the right one? And to be fair to Sammy, he cuts it back into a great area. And the League Cup's top goal scorer, no doubt, that's right, the leading goal scorer in the Carabao Cup, Morgan Rogers, with a beautifully controlled finish into the corner. So often you see them get ballooned over the bar, put wide or whatever, and I think Rogers' finish here sort of summed up Boro's performance. Nice and controlled, calmly into the corner, 2-0, jobs are good. And after that, Port Vale didn't offer much. I think at this point, the life had been sucked out of the stadium, essentially. Their fans were doing great at first, even at 1-0 to get their team back in it. They were making it difficult for Boro. It was a good atmosphere. After the second went in, it was like the life had been sucked out of Vale Park, and the job for Boro was done. And it was a case of just making sure we didn't slip, get complacent, and give them any inch of an opportunity to get back into the game. And that's what Carrick said. He basically reiterated to the boys at half-time. 2-0, the game's still on a knife edge. Do not allow them to get back in no matter what. And we didn't. And Matt Crooks made it 3-0 on 53 minutes. Ball was played in. He did really well to hold off the defenders. He turned into the box, and it was a very good finish by the tree as well. And 3-0 was game, set and match, essentially. And as I say, Boro were able to just keep the ball, keep possession, keep it away from Port Vale, and when they did have the ball, they never got really that close to the Boro goal. And we saw it out, 3-0, and it did come at a cost. I will say that Boro and their injury list did continue. I'll stick an image on screen now, and yeah, this was an image I created for the Boro Breakdown podcast, and it highlights the injury crisis that Boro are in right now. Now, a lot of these quite possibly could just be the fact that we've played a lot of games. We've had, apparently a lot of the boys were carrying knocks and niggles into this game anyway, and they had to be managed. But in this game, we saw Isaiah Jones come on, then go off. Carrick did say he had a tight hamstring before the game, so it was something they knew of, but they wanted to manage him. They brought him on for a bit, had to take him back off again, which is a concern. Matt Crooks went off as well. He had a tight hamstring. He was feeling his hamstring. He had to go off. Lath went off at half time. I don't know if he felt his hamstring or something as well. He looked like he felt something when he was running towards goal. And then Morgan Rogers was in a hefty challenge in the second half, and he had to go off, which I think looked like a dead leg. But again, at this point in time, I really, really just don't know what's going on at Boro at the moment. We've got 14 senior injuries as it stands, and you can literally create an incredible lineup with that. You can actually create a really good 11-man starting lineup with Boro's injured players, and we can also have 3 subs as well. So listen, it's a big concern. I was getting really worried when I was watching the game last night. At any point, any Boro player could have pulled up. Every time they went into a challenge, it was like they were made of glass. I am concerned by our injuries, and I do feel like the level of muscular injuries is just a little bit ridiculous, and maybe something Boro are doing around training needs to be investigated or looked into, because essentially we shouldn't be having this many muscle injuries. But yeah, it's concerning. It's concerning, and I don't know how many of these we're going to get back in the next couple of weeks. I think Hackney and McGree are getting closer. I'd like to think Crooks, Jones and Lath and Rogers in this game were all precautions. I think Force is a little bit far off still. Rav apparently picked up a back injury at some point as well, hence why he was injured here. McNair obviously got a back injury in the Leeds game, and Dieng has a thigh problem, which we still don't know the extent of. So, listen, Boro, we are down to not even the bare bones. I don't even know what's below bare bones, but 14 senior injuries. It can't get any worse. But it just, again, commends the job that Carrick and the boys are doing. The fact that they're still ticking over in the playoff race. They've made the last 4. Yes, we've got lucky with the draws we've had, and it's going to be a horribly tough semi-final, but we're in there, 2-legged affair, and I just pray that we get players back, because we've got another game on Saturday, we've got a game on Boxing Day on Tuesday, we've then got another game on the 29th, then New Year's Day. It's relentless, the fixture list for Boro, and quite frankly, we couldn't have a worse injury crisis at a worse time in the season. But yeah, in just over a week, essentially, we've got 4 games coming up, and it's going to be a real test of the Boro squad. But the boys are doing a great job so far. I have to commend them, and I just hope that we get a bit more luck in terms of getting boys back, and hopefully that'll allow us to use what this current form as a foundation, and fingers crossed, if we can use it as a foundation, it will only mean that we will go forwards, and that's up the league and hopefully further into the League Cup as we get more players back, because we could not be in a more vulnerable position at the moment, and we're still ticking over rather nicely. So this is how it looks then into the semi-final of the League Cup. So Fulham knocked out Everton on penalties. Chelsea knocked out Newcastle on penalties. And I was sure we were going to play Newcastle for the first time in, what would it be, 13 years? I thought it's going to happen. And I would never have lived it down if Newcastle would have been the side who beat us in a semi-final. But it doesn't matter, because they conceded a late equaliser and lost on penalties to Chelsea, which I found a little bit hilarious, I'm not going to lie. Liverpool and West Ham is the only available, or the only quarter-final left to play. I know Josh, who's a subscriber of mine and has been for a long time, big Liverpool fan, so I tell you what, if we play you guys, that would be interesting. But I don't have a preference, to be honest with you. We've played Championship, League 1, League 2 sides up until this point. I think we've beat Huddersfield, Bradford, Bolton, Port Vale, Exeter. So we've gotten lucky in that respect, and now it's time to play one of the big boys, and it will be tough. We will be underdogs no matter who it is: Fulham, Chelsea, Liverpool, West Ham. But two-legged affair. If Boro can get players back, we've seen it in the past. We've beaten the likes of Tottenham, Man United in the cups. It can happen, and if it was to happen on this one occasion, Boro would make a final of a major competition, which I never thought I would see again in my lifetime, after we of course won the League Cup back in 2004 and was in the UEFA Cup final in 2006. So we are so close to something that would be truly so rare, and to see Boro get this far in a competition and to see them make a final again would be something I would relish forever, because you just don't know when these when these things are going to happen again. For all that your mind is continuously focused on promotion and the Championship and the league campaign, this is a special time, essentially, to be a Boro fan. And if we can, just to be in a two-legged semi-final with a Premier League side is going to be exciting anyway, but if we can find a way through, oh my word, going to Wembley in another final, it's up for grabs. It's a lottery at that point, isn't it? It's anyone's to win. And 3 games away from a major trophy, 3 games away from Europe, if you want to really, really over-egg it. It's incredible. But I'm not going to get myself too excited. As I say, I don't have a preference. Fulham or West Ham, obviously, are the two, but that's just because Chelsea and Liverpool are the other two. I mean, ideally, you could say you'd like Chelsea and Liverpool to be the two who maybe play each other if Liverpool do get through, and we can have Fulham in the other semi-final, but Fulham are playing well. So maybe West Ham if they beat Liverpool, but to be honest with you, it's going to be tough either way, and I'm just here for it. I'm here for the ride. I'm very excited, and I just hope Boro put in a good shift in the semi-final, and if we get through, well, we're in dreamland, essentially, at this moment in time. But that is it, guys, for this fun, enjoyable episode of Project Boro. Great to see Boro avoid an upset and make it through to the semi-finals of the League Cup. We'll find out who we play tonight in the draw after the Liverpool-West Ham game, and then we'll look forward to a two-legged tie against a Premier League side. But I'll be back at the weekend, guys, with hopefully some more positive news. It's back-to-back wins for Boro now in both competitions, but we host West Brom at home on Saturday, and if I'm honest, I don't even know what team we're going to be able to field that game. We'll have to hope that the injuries suffered last night were not as bad as first feared, and the little knocks and niggles will be fine and recovered from, and we might even get lucky and get one of the 2 long-term boys back as well, because I think Lewis O'Brien should be due back soon as well, which would be absolutely fantastic. But until then, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, do hit the like button and subscribe for more, and hit the bell too so you never miss an upload here on YouTube. And if you do watch or listen to me, should I say, on the podcast providers, do give me a like and a rating over there, and subscribe to me if you'd rather listen to these as a podcast. But until next time, a big thank you for watching, guys. Do take care, and I'll see you all at the weekend for hopefully a win over West Brom.